Yeah, he's good in the trenches, but he's turned all his fantasy players into absolute grenades.
Yeah.
You can't trust any
And
of
I
them.
mean that in the Jersey Shorest way possible.
It's sad.
Grenade!
The worst part is like you did 3 top 10 picks and offensive players, and yet you're just like, hey,
And you don't have a top 20 offense.
well, quarterback doesn't
Oh,
help.
no good. McManus missed the second one.
I have a feeling they're going to be in the Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins sweepstake.
They have to be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Ritter made the biggest bonehead fucking pick in the red zone today. I was like,
yeah.
I watched
And-
it live and I was like, what are you doing?
The best part is you could see in Arthur Smith's face, he's like, I hate that guy.
like-
Arthur Smith was like, I hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it when they just turn around and give Cordell Patterson the rock in the red zone. It's just
Oh,
like,
I love that because I'm up against Bijan in a league, so I was all about that. I was like, yes.
just
Take
happy.
away the Bijan.
Everywhere I had him, I was
Take
on
away the
bye this
Bijan
week.
possibilities. All right. I'm going to give it like a few seconds and we'll roll. You guys good?
Yeah.
You guys good for a podcast there?
Oh gosh, we got some snow flying right now. It's beautiful. We finally
got some rain.
snow.
We got some rain here in New England. Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. It's playoff season. I hope you made the playoffs in your leagues and you're thriving and you're winning and you're on to the next round. If you're not and your season's over, it's okay because it's Dynasty, baby. It's season. It's year long. Every season is Dynasty season. The regular season is my least favorite part of the Dynasty. The Dynasty season. I like after the season ends and we get into a rookie talk. We get into the Senior Bowl, we get into the Combine, we get into the draft. Then my juices really start to bubble and get flowing. That's when I feel the most powerful. The regular season's fun, and luckily I've had a good playoff year. The guys here, James and Tyler, have as well. So yeah, it's been a pretty decent start. James and Tyler, James, I know we're up against each other in a league, and that didn't go all that well. But that's either here nor there. So we're not going to worry about that. But other than that, how are you guys faring so far?
Doug with the old, hey James, good for you. Oh, look at right there, kicking the nuts quick. Oh James, it's all right. We know what you're going through.
It's all right.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's what fantasy is. Sometimes you have to take them on the chin. When your top 3 wide receivers on your team all decide to take the week off, and they were this close to playing. Like all of them are going to smash next week, but none of them got onto the field today.
This is what happens. You're going to be the high scorer in all the league next week.
Oh yeah,
and you're going to be sitting there, eating your own tears.
That's why it's important to get the bye. That's what it is.
Like me, except it doesn't help. Well, Bijan scoring 0.8 points on my. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
for show. But yeah, the playoffs are upon us. It was an interesting slate with the 3 Saturday games this week, but we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We got some news for everybody before we jump into this week and give you our thoughts. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy Football. They're absolutely awesome. You can play not only NFL, you can do NBA, you can do hockey. And once baseball season starts up and all that kind of stuff, you can do everything on there and you can bet in all sorts of different ways, whether you want to do prop bets, you want to do pick'ems. However you want to do it, you can do it. You can do a quick 7-round draft and draft a team for the week. Like really unique things about Underdog that I really, really enjoy. The app is super easy to use. It's one of the smoothest apps in the shop for this kind of thing. So make sure you check out Underdog Fantasy. Use code DHH to have your deposit of up to $100 matched right away. It's free money for something you're probably going to do anyways. If you're out for the season, you can still play fantasy football. Do it on Underdog. Once again, code DHH, have that up to $100 matched right away. We do have some player news. Not a lot of injuries this week, thankfully. Well, I mean,
James' team.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's players. Well, here's the thing.
Guilty.
There's players that missed games, and there's players that got hurt in games. So slightly different, but we'll get there.
James got both, I think.
I got both. Yeah, both.
He did. It's true. He got it from both ends. Ayo. So the Jets lost this week, and they're officially out of the playoffs for the 13th season in a row. It's the worst drought in all of pro sports. Jets fans, cool. Is Aaron Rodgers coming back next week?
He
They have to
has
clear him by Wednesday, right? So
He has to.
his
Like,
ego
yes.
won't allow him
Oh,
not
yeah.
to.
You know, if the doctor's like, you're okay to play, Rodgers is gonna be like, I did this.
I'm
This
gonna
was me.
show him what I can do and what they missed and
And,
why I'm
and
so
legit,
important.
he's gonna come back in. Garrett Wilson's gonna be a top 12 receiver next week, and
I'm here
this-
for it.
And he's gonna
Same.
give you a little taste of what the offense could be, and then it's gonna be all this hype again. Robert Saleh's gonna keep his job, and then next year, some shit's gonna happen. It's gonna hit the fan, and then we're back to square one.
Yeah, they'll be a non-playoff team at like 7-10.
Well, I mean, what would you rather do? Play Aaron Rodgers at the end of the season where it doesn't matter, or Trevor Siemian? Because Zach Wilson got his head knocked around today. He's out.
He was 4 for 11 too. So that one game was like seeing a Haley's Comet. It's just like, holy cow, there
Pretty
it is.
much, yeah. They're like, is Zach Wilson? I love it on the sports radio. It's like, is Zach Wilson like a decent quarterback? And then he goes to this, and you're like, oh no, just a blip on the radar. It's fine.
He's Sam Darnold.
Yeah, exactly. We got to see some Sam Darnold today.
Yeah,
just briefly.
For a second there, I was like, oh god, Purdy's done. Nope.
Yeah, no, he came back and he was good.
He's so good.
So tomorrow night's game, Jalen Hurts is flying separately than the rest of the team to Seattle because he doesn't want to get anyone else sick. They moved this game. They moved off the Patriots Chiefs and put this game on Monday night, and we could have a no Jalen Hurts, no Geno Smith, and have it be Marcus Mariota versus Drew Lock. So that's cool. Geno Smith is a game time decision. Jalen Hurts, it looks like he's probably trending to play. The Eagles, I mean, with Dallas's loss today, the Eagles can be like, all right, how badly do we actually need this game? Like
Jordan flu game, maybe. Could have a Jordan flu game situation where he just goes off.
He needs to get off the private plane and go right to the hospital, get plenty of IVs just stuck in him so he has a bunch of adrenaline, bunch of fluids, and then get him out on the field and then get him back to the hospital.
Just hooked up like Bane. Like
I can't lose any more players this week.
I don't want him to pop off though. Like that's I want him to play and I want the Eagles to win, but I don't want him to score like 30 fantasy points because I'm against him in a league and I'll be upset.
Yeah, if he's out, I'm okay with it because I have no Jalen Hurts on any
I have
roster,
Hurts,
so.
but the teams that I have him on are on bye, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
I don't have him
I
starting
think
this week.
Geno's going to play in this one.
Yeah, I have a feeling Geno's going to play.
They need this win.
And
bad.
if Geno plays, start every offensive wide receiver.
DK's
Maybe
gonna
even Noah
smash.
Fant if you need a dart throw.
I'm
Yeah.
starting him in a
Cody
required
Parkinson?
2 tight end league.
You know what? So if you have tight end premium, I this is off subject. I'm starting 3 tight ends, and I had Hawkinson, Cole Kmet, and thank you, Doug, David Njoku, the Chief.
Oh,
And I have
My
had
guy.
3 weeks in a row of just pure bliss. I'm loving it. And this is like almost eye-opening to me. So, Doug, with your teams, when you have about 85 tight ends on them that you could start, I'm open to it now. Like,
Now you know why.
like honestly, in tight
I
end
have so many
premium,
tight
if you
ends.
don't have a quarterback and you have 3 tight ends, slide one of those tight ends in because they could score as much as a
Tyler,
quarterback.
I learned this from the Capitals Pigs League.
Oh, that's very true.
I remember when Scott Fish himself would roster up tight ends and he'd start 4 tight ends in a week.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I did it in Scott Fish Bowl, although this week it didn't work out. I had Kelsey, Hawkinson, and Likely, and looks like I'm not advancing in Scott Fish Bowl because
Yeah,
Dak
we need-
Prescott decided to poop all over his shoes up in
We
Buffalo.
need to have an intervention about Kelsey in this episode.
Yeah. I feel this. There's a transition in the midst of the tight end position, and you know who's
Yeah.
here for it? This guy. So very happy with that. So yeah, so keep an eye out to your lineups on Monday with Jalen Hurts and Geno Smith. As far as injuries that happened in game, Zach Moss injured his shoulder and he had trouble holding the ball. Jonathan Taylor might be set to return next week after his surgery. We'll see. That's going to be interesting. But I got to say, Trey Sermon and Tyler Goodson, they look pretty good.
Tyler Goodson, massive fan of him.
I liked
thought
him
he's-
from back in the
yeah.
day.
I
Yeah.
thought he was going to replace Aaron Jones. 100% was like, this is Aaron Jones'
Him
replacement.
and Ty Chandler were the 2 running backs, the late running backs that I
Yep.
really liked in that draft class.
And if you don't know who Goodson is, he is a guy from Iowa that is a really good pass catcher. He's not fast, but he's shifty, and he is what you'd want as a replacement for Aaron Jones. That's why I'm like, Packers. Why you put him on the Packers on the practice squad? And somebody snagged him up, and here we are. and he could be the thorn in Evan Hall's waist next season.
Really?
Potentially.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. But I thought it was interesting that I mean, they got a lot. Those running backs got a lot of work after Pittman got injured. They didn't really pass the ball much.
Just more
'cause
proof
they
that
were
running
running it
backs can be recycled.
Oh, I am embracing that more and more in Dynasty with some of the teams that I'm kind of transitioning. Like, I'm kind of like, oh, I have Chuba Hubbard and Devin Singletary. I can roll with that every week and then have stud receivers and good quarterbacks. Like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah.
So I'm unless it's Christian McCaffrey or something like that. Like, yeah,
McCaffrey, Bijan, and Brees are probably the three where I'm kind of holding
except McCaffrey scored 40 points this week, and Brees and Bijan combined for 3 points.
Yeah, but Brees is coming back next year with a full offensive line. I think Bijan, once Patterson finally just evaporates from the world, and Tyler
I don't
Algier,
think it's a Patterson problem. I think it's an Arthur Smith problem.
100%. I agree, but with this loss to the Carolina Panthers, his seat got super hot. Like, I thought to myself, if he loses this game, there's actually a greater chance he gets fired than he stays on. Because you can't lose that game.
That was a need to win. That was a need to win game.
But the issue is Arthur Blank just sitting up in the stands, not knowing where the hell he is. So
he thinks he's at Home Depot. He's like, huh?
Right?
He's huffing gasoline in the back. He doesn't know what's going on.
He's sitting in front of the Chick-fil-A line, not realizing it's Sunday.
Why is there a line then? Sorry.
It's Arthur Smith and his people.
Oh, his people. Nice. All right, let's move. Let's get through these injuries because I can see we're chomping at the bit to chop it up here. I'm going to go through the injuries and then we'll circle back at the end. So Jamar Chase, big one, is day-to-day with a sprained AC joint. He didn't even have his arm through his sweatshirt on the sideline. T. Higgins had a really nice day, one of the coolest touchdowns you'll ever see. Jaden Reed had a toe injury. He left in the fourth quarter, and he didn't return. Love Jaden Reed. Big fan.
He had a toe injury because of that toe drag.
Swag that he had.
Probably. Yeah.
Jordan Love with a beautiful pass, too.
Yeah. And then we had Zach Wilson with a head injury. No one cares. Michael Pittman is in concussion protocol after that very vicious hit by DeMonte Casey, and KZ was ejected after that hit. I'm just glad Michael Pittman
injected.
Yeah, I'm just glad Michael Pittman didn't have anything serious, it looks like, from that, because that was pretty gnarly looking.
Yeah.
And,
Pittman's dad's on the sideline just staring down KZ. Oh,
I wouldn't want to. Oh my God. Dude, the Pitbull Pittman was massive when he was with the Cardinals. Him and David Boston, I swear to God, they had like arm wrestling contests.
They probably had the needle still in their arm.
It's possible.
We just didn't realize
Do you remember how freaking big David Boston was?
Yeah.
That dude was like someone blew air into his arms.
He was so put it into comparison. Brady Quinn had trouble throwing the ball because he was so ripped. David Boston had trouble catching the ball over his head because he was so ripped.
Yeah, Boston was a freak beast. One good season, though. Before we get on to the roundup here, I do want to give a shout out to Trophy Smack. You may have missed the window to order for holiday delivery, unless you do like some crazy overnight shipping. And if you got that kind of cake, then good on you. But Trophy Smack has the best selection in the game for not only belts, but also for trophies. Whether you play football, hockey, basketball, baseball, soccer, as The Rock says, it doesn't matter. They're completely customizable for every sport, however you want to do it. James has his chef belt, which is absolutely awesome. He's been super happy with that. They have the right trophy for you. And when you use code DHHRing, you get a free $60 championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. And they also have stuff for all the losers in your league. Some of the losers are lovable. Some of them are very hateable. We all know we have those in our leagues. Am I right, Batman? Anywho. Once again, that's code DHHRing for that free ring at checkout. And if you're listening, you know who you are. All right, Tyler, kick us off. What do you want to talk about from this week? What's on the top of your redhead?
Let's talk about something in the news that we can enjoy and embrace, and that's Staley being fired. Do you hear the shackles come off Justin Herbert's whole body? Just like we're Christmas season, like a Marley brother getting all the chains off of him. He's like, oh, free. Yeah. So that is Herbert, And I think I know, Doug, you saw me trade for Eckler. I think better days are ahead. I honestly think with Eckler, his ankle injury has bothered him more than it was a high ankle. So high ankles go
I don't
throughout the
know.
year.
I don't know.
We'll see. But
Not
for
trusting
me,
Eckler.
this offense has definitely been released of the Staley grossness, and we should see better days. Hopefully, my favorite coach to go here. I mean, we've heard Bill Belichick, and I think if it's Bill, he will bring a smart offensive mind. Please, not what's his name
Kellen Moore.
No,
Matt Patricia.
no. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Bill
Raiders
O'Brien?
old coach.
Oh, McDaniels.
Oh,
Yeah,
McDaniels.
Keep him away from the Chargers, please. I mean,
unless
if
they draft Brock Bowers, then I'm all about it.
if that's the case, Eckler wheels up because he's gonna
He'll
get
catch,
so
he'll catch
many
100 passes
targets.
like he normally does.
So
1 year contract.
there's
3,000
Bill.
attempts.
My dream for them or even the Panthers is Johnson from Detroit.
Ben
but I
Johnson.
think,
yeah.
but all I've heard is the Chargers are the dream job because you have a young quarterback that's paid. They have some weapons. Maybe you can work with Quentin Johnson. Hey, he hasn't dropped the ball as much, but who cares?
Josh Palmer's better wide receiver.
He is.
100%.
And honestly, I agree, Doug. If they get Bowers, which they need 100%, somebody in the middle, Herbert's trying to throw it to the outside way too much. He needs a safety blanket in the middle other than Eckler. And that's what Brock Bowers can do. We've seen it with Laporta and how it's opened up that offense. We've seen it with Kincaid when they use him without Knox. But, yeah, this offense should change. And maybe this defense will get better because, free up Derwin James because that guy is an all-star. And yet you're making him look like an average player.
Yeah.
And this is a defensive mind guy. I didn't get it.
It's just it's always been a weird team for me that's like crawling in talent, but just doesn't reach expectations every single year. This is the Chargers way, right? I saw a tweet today that was the most Chargers thing ever when Younghoe Koo missed like the 2 field goals like at the beginning of the season when they had him and they cut him. And ever since he's the most accurate field goal kicker in history. Well, it's that's so Chargers.
Yeah, let's not forget the Vikings did that with their kicker too, and Daniel Carlson when they drafted him in I want to say the 5th round.
Yeah.
And they cut him 2 weeks in the season, went to the Raiders, and became an All-Pro.
Yep. Hey, sometimes it happens like that.
What about the more exciting side of the ball in the matchup this week? 63 points from the Raiders. Like, are we excited about any of these players that went off? Me personally, I like Trey Tucker. We've talked about him on the show.
Yeah.
I look at him as a low value buy right now. What about Zamir White?
No, only player I'm really interested in buying is Mayer because if he can get more targets, he is a beast. Like that dude is a brick wall. He reminds me of the Mountain. I just finished up Game of Thrones. Every time he touches the ball,
Bjornsson.
He dwarfs everybody, and he does not want to run around you. He wants to destroy you, and that was the Mountain, and that's what it reminds me of. And he kind of looks like somebody that'd be the Mountain in Game of Thrones because just chiseled
makes
jaw.
sense.
Looks like a typical Notre Dame tight end.
The Hound. I agree with you. I agree with you on Mayer, and I still like Jacoby Myers for what he is.
He's cheap, and he's a wide receiver 3 for a team.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. But other than that, Aiden O'Connell,
he's fun.
He's okay.
But he's a backup. They will figure out their quarter. Like Kirk
it's
Cousins,
not Jimmy G.
Kirk Cousins is another.
Jimmy G's gonna be gone.
This is another destination for Kirk. I think.
Yeah.
Somebody that like him and Devontae, he would just feed Devontae nonstop, and especially Mayer. Ooh, I'm getting all hot thinking about it.
Makes a lot of sense there.
Which reminds me, the Vikings are in trouble at quarterback too, because as much as Nick Mullins played okay, he's not the answer. Like,
no, we all know
teams,
he's not the answer. He's a backup.
There's a lot of teams that this is gonna be a fun offseason for quarterbacks because like Fields could be on the move. Kirk Cousins is a free agent. Who else am I missing? Like Jimmy G could actually find another job. Like he could be a Minnesota quarterback.
Zach Wilson will be a free agent.
Yay.
Oh man, that's
Josh
gross.
Dobbs.
Like who else is a free agent?
I don't think there's a lot.
Yeah, we're talking about Kyler. Kyler, the way he played today, I thought he put in his best effort, But man, like the way
They're just lacking playmakers.
100%. And all I thought of today was if they had Marvin Harrison, this team would look so different. And that's a dream. Hopefully nobody jumps them for Marv.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Bears aren't like, if we're gonna pass on a quarterback, we'll take Marv.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Bears trade the number 1 overall again, which could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be very interesting if they still have a roster with a lot of needs. They hit a home run with that trade the first time.
Whoa, they smoked a home run.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young once again showed that
He looked okay today.
I mean, this guy is running for his damn life, and he's looking to throw to somebody, and there is nobody. There's absolutely nobody. Adam Thielen is still running his route when Bryce Young is like 5 seconds in the pocket.
Yeah, speaking about running for their life today, Will Levis was running for his life all day today too. The Titans offensive line. Now, the good news about this draft is it's very deep along the offensive line, so it's going to help a lot of teams. But, a guy like Levis, he just shows flashes of like that. The arm talent is crazy. Like he's got the flick of the wrist, boom, it's gone. He hit a couple of passes deep, and I was like, man, that is such a beautiful ball.
Baby.
Such a beautiful ball from Levis, but the problem is the pocket's collapsing so fast. We saw him get hurt at the end of the game. It looks like he's probably going to be okay. I don't think he tore anything or broke anything, but
they didn't even show the replay. Like that's how bad they thought it was.
No, but he walked off and he got out, and he didn't look like he was in a lot of pain. He was more frustrated. I like Will Levis because he's fun to watch because he's got that like it factor when it comes to like passion and heart. And I love that when I watch players in the NFL.
It's legit. The reason why he fell in the draft is because people thought he was way too much. Like, that person that's at a party and you're like, dude, that guy.
When they won last week and he was like, hulking out, I was like, I love that. Like, he's a
Vrabel dude. Like, if Vrabel stays in Tennessee, that is.
Vrabel probably will. Vrabel's a great coach. I don't think he's going to go
100%. The only way I could see him leave is if he goes to the Patriots.
Please, no more Patriots. Old Patriots people in Patriots. I want him to just take everything down. Who
would you rather have, Arthur Smith?
No.
Or Mike Vrabel?
No. I don't want either one of them.
Or you could have Arthur Smith at offensive coordinator, Vrabel,
and Brandon Staley as the head coach.
That's your dream team, Doug.
Because they're all being paid by other teams, so that's why they would do it.
Yeah,
the
that's why.
Cheap.
And Cliff Kingsbury comes
Joe
in.
Judge, you're getting paid. Come back.
And Kingsbury comes in as like an OC helper.
Because he used to be a quarterback there. Oh my god.
With McDaniels.
This is my nightmare. This is my living hell.
McDaniels as the assistant head coach.
That tree is dilapidated.
Patricia as linebackers. Oh my god.
Running back coach LeGarrette Blount.
You know what we need? You know what we need?
Cool.
We need to get Robert Kraft on the phone, James, and you and I can build this coaching staff.
I don't know if Robert knows what he's doing half the time nowadays anyway, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
He didn't make his money from cheese. It's from paper. It's not Kraft mac and cheese. Wrong Kraft.
That's the papers around the cheese, Doug. I've told you this thousands of times.
It's in between the slices. If you're that guy at the deli, I will slap the shit out of you.
What?
People will ask for slices of cheese with a piece of paper in between each one.
Oh,
why?
Heck no.
My brother-in-law used to work at a deli, and he's like, you wouldn't believe how many old people would be like, yeah, I want a pound of cheese, but can you put a piece of paper in between
Can
each
you make
slice?
it paper thin? Like, I love the paper thin American cheese. Don't get me wrong.
No, but to put like a piece of paper in
take the
between
time.
each slice.
Yeah, to like portion it out one slice at a time. Yeah, no.
Karen,
No,
take your
that's just
cheese
straight
and
up
go.
Karen.
Yeah.
Karen Kraft.
Ugh,
Karen doesn't
Cut your
order
own
cheese from a
cheese.
deli. Come on.
terrible. Ugh. Yeah, I like what I've seen out of Will Levis. I know he hasn't his first game, obviously he popped with the 4 touchdowns, and it's been kind of like sink or swim fantasy wise, but I think the pieces are there. They just need to protect him.
How
And he
about
needs the experience.
How about Sam Howell's getting benched?
I think they did the right thing by taking him out.
How about
And
Jacoby Brissett coming in and being like the heater?
Yeah. And I think Sam Howell was had some tunnel vision. All right. He wasn't hitting his reads right. He was getting pressure. And like the whole philosophy of the team, or the whole morale of the team rather, just switched as soon as Jacoby Brissett came in.
Brian
Like
Robinson,
Howell was like just getting beat up back there, throwing interception. He's just not getting it done.
this team is going to hit a refresh, and if you have Howell in Dynasty, you just hope that he survives the
It's
gutting.
not Jacoby Brissett. We all know that.
No, and honestly,
Washington's
I think
going to have a top 10 pick.
Washington also has a lot more needs than just quarterback.
They shipped off a lot of defensive players this year.
I think
Yeah.
offensive line is their biggest thing. I think there's 3 top 10 offensive linemen in this
Yeah.
draft.
At least.
I looked at a couple mock drafts, and it looks like there's going to be 3 to 4
Mhm.
offensive tackles. The Notre Dame kid, Penn State, and there's
Yeah.
one other one that was really highly ranked.
But we know Ron Rivera is on the hot seat. He's probably
gone.
not going to be
He's
there
gonna be
at
gone.
the end
I
of this
think
year.
they already announced he's gone after the season.
Take your riverboat and leave.
So does Bieniemy get the job?
No,
That's
No.
going to be interesting. I think Bieniemy gets the job.
no.
I think he's primed to be always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
They are going to clean sweep this. Magic
he's got a
Johnson
lot
wants
in-
And the
all
owner,
change.
and the
That's what I'm saying.
owners,
Magic Johnson, he's got the same
mad
haircut.
money. They've got mad money. Like, we'll see.
Oh, they're going to pay a coach, and I think they're going to go like a Harbaugh route. They want somebody that's solidified, somebody that's a leader.
Nick
And they-
Saban.
They can't go the new coach route. They can't try to get the new hotness type, because
No.
if they do, they're going to keep this whole entire thing going, the whole crappiness. They need somebody with like Sean Payton. I think that's the route they go, and I think they will be in heavily for Belichick
McVay?
as well. I think McVay ain't leaving LA. There ain't no way that guy.
No.
He's either LA or he's in the booth.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that has been a
They
rumored
can
spot
have,
for
they can have
Belichick.
Arthur
too.
Smith if they want.
Speaking of LA, Kyron Williams, baby.
Yeah,
He's just good at football.
that was
You watch
James's guy. James is the innovator of the Kyron Williams.
I liked him in Notre Dame, but Doug, you know my rule. I can't fall in love with Notre Dame running backs anymore. CJ Prosise hurt me too much.
He did.
So with the change in guard, the way football is doing things, the way the NFL teams are doing things, stacking up, we know that there is a running back by committee almost on every team. There's a couple outliers, obviously.
Sure.
But this is one of those teams that's kind of an outlier where Kyron Williams and no one else, Royce Freeman, carried
Yeah,
the
they
ball
mixed
6
him in a
times.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he was giving him a rest.
I mean,
27 carries.
This is kind of like what the Rams do when they have a guy like Todd Gurley. Like they did the same thing with Gurley. There wasn't anybody else really getting carries when Gurley was there. When they don't have a guy that's good enough, like a Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel, then they mix it up. But when they have a guy that can do it all,
Do you say a guy that's good enough? And you just named those two guys off?
no, I said so those guys weren't good enough. That's what I'm saying. Is they don't have a guy that's good enough, so they'll mix it up
I'm
between
with
a
ya.
couple different guys. But when they have a guy that can do it all, then they just roll with that. That's kind of it's like the Steelers used to be before they started mixing in Jalen Warren with Najee. Like it was James Conner. It was before that. Whatever running back they had, that was the guy that touched the ball 20 times, and that's the guy that stayed on the field.
Speaking
It's
of
very
guy
much
that's
that
gonna be on a
mentality.
different team.
Le'Veon Bell.
Najee looked bad.
Yeah.
He missed.
And they called back that touchdown that I needed him
he
to score.
missed. He missed so many holes. It was ugly. And let's talk about a running back. James, you had Kyron Williams.
Mhm.
Good call. There was one guy that I got so much heat for being almost too high on.
Here it is.
Do you remember who that guy was? Somebody that I
Hmm.
got trashed on the internet for taking at 103 in a league.
You did.
Gibbs?
No.
That would be James Cook.
Oh, well, yeah, he had a career day.
He's had a career
He's been
year.
He's been very, very good.
Well, we knew he was going to have an uptick in production. We knew this.
But a career year. This guy is somebody that is getting, I don't know, 15 PPR points a week. And people still don't believe in him. Oh, Leonard Fournette is behind him. Oh,
Leonard
Latavius
Fournette hasn't
Murray.
even taken a snap.
Latavius Murray's going to take touchdowns. He doesn't need touchdowns. They are fine. It took getting rid of Ken Dorsey to finally realize this guy is a PPR machine.
Mhm.
When I watched his tape, I saw shades of his brother. He's not as good as his brother in prime. His brother, Doug, we talked about
He's
this.
not
with
as
Delving,
strong, but he's shiftier,
and I think
and his
I think
vision's not
Delvin-
as good.
I think the best thing is working with his brother Delvin, because there's one thing Delvin did, probably one of the best I've seen since Jamal Charles, and it's having like a foot, like the area he's going into, it's like a foot wide. Delvin could slide through there without losing a step and
yeah,
he's gone.
he gets skinny like very quickly.
And James Cook has shown me this year that is
yeah.
what he's doing. Like especially in traffic when he's going, into the second level and he's hitting the linebackers. Like he's so good at just taking that one cut and getting small.
Mhm.
And that's what I've realized this year. And he gains an extra 3 or 4 yards each time that happens. And yeah, I'm just happy this is happening. He saved my butt a couple times today. But James Cook, our hero that was promised.
Yeah, I think another running back too, who's had an ascent, much like James Cook, who I didn't see coming.
Clyde
This is a guy,
Edwards-Helaire.
no, and this is a guy that Tyler hated coming out of the draft. He runs too upright. He's not athletic enough, and
God.
here he is.
Oh,
He's been
yep.
he's the RB4 on the season.
Rashad White.
Rashad freaking White, of all people. This has been probably the most pleasant surprise because we all knew the situation was good. Like we know he was going to be the guy. They UDFA Sean Tucker, who James and I like. They had only Chase Edmonds and Keyshawn Vaughn, RIP. They let him go this week. You're probably safe to cut him off your rosters, by the way.
Who's that, Vaughn?
Yeah. But Rashad White, he's doing it in the passing game, and he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry behind a line that's not that great in Tampa.
And he's RB22 in Dynasty.
Which is low. I mean, he's RB4 on the season. Maybe he moved up to 3 today. I don't know. But he's in the top 5 for the season, which is wild to me. But he has been so consistent, over 100 yards from scrimmage again this week, another touchdown this week. He's been an RB1 every week for the last 6 or 7 weeks, and this is something I did not see coming. It reminds me a little bit, not of Josh Jacobs last year, who in redraft was like the round 8 running back that like won you the league, but he's kind of playing that role. And I don't think he's as good as Josh Jacobs. I just think that I think he's better than we thought.
It's the opportunity. It really is the opportunity. There's nobody else behind him except for Chase Edmonds.
But here's the thing: players have opportunity and they don't make the most of it. He is absolutely making the most.
Yeah,
of what he's
he
got.
wasn't the worst prospect coming out of school.
No, not at all. I liked him coming out. Tyler was just so off Rashad White.
I still. He's
I think it's a great sell high opportunity.
He's a way better pass catcher than than people realize. He's a very good pass catcher. His run.
I mean,
he's
after the
not-
season, I don't know if I
his
want him on my
vision's gotten
roster.
Much better.
but he's not special. That's
would
the
agree.
thing. Like he's average. Who was that guy that played for Tampa Bay that was a pass catcher running back? Sims was his last name.
Yes, he had like 500 receiving yards, 500. Charles Sims.
Charles Sims.
I love that guy.
That's who he is. But I actually thought Charles Sims had more explosion. Rashad White, I agree, James. Massive sell high at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to get a first for him, and I'm out at a first.
Yeah, I agree with that. I only have him on one roster. It's my home dynasty league, and it's a roster where I don't have a ton of running back depth, so it's been like awesome for him to kind of pop. I have CMC in that league, which is, let's be honest, we used to call Justin Jefferson the warm blanket. This year, man, CMC, he's a touchdown every week. He's easy, double-digit points. Yeah.
Except Raheem Mostert's that old blanket that your grandma had.
That blanket's gonna have a lot of holes in it by the time next season starts.
It's got some cigarette burns. Yeah, it's definitely used, but it
smells of smoke.
It's Old Faithful. You look at it and you're like, oh, all the memories with that blanket. I remember that blanket was in California, just doing its blanket thing. Now it's here.
And I had to sew it. I had to sew it a bunch of times because it always got injured.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Hard Knocks? I don't think you guys were really into it.
I never really get to the
in-season Hard Knocks this year. Like, really shows that Raheem Mostert, he's gonna be here next year.
Well, yeah,
I really do.
He's not just gonna evaporate.
Poof. Well, hey, yes, they do.
I
mean, there are so many running backs that just evaporate.
I think
Ramondre Stevenson may have just evaporated.
Achane to me is a huge buy at the end of the season, especially if he keeps going this trajectory, because I think next year he will be the guy that kind of solidifies as the RB1. Yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, man, Rashad White, that's been a pleasant surprise. So if you rostered him and you spent a second round pick on him, what I think is going to be real interesting is that this running back class was good. Next year's class is not great. So I don't think we're going to see. There's going to be musical chairs at the position, right? Because we have a pretty elite free agent class with Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, et cetera, et cetera. But there's not a lot of running backs in the draft.
FSU kid that just declared.
Trey Benson declared. Yep.
Who's RB1 on most boards.
Which is I like Trey Benson.
He's a
He's
big
good.
guy.
I don't look until January. I don't do
That's
it.
fine.
But
it'll be interesting. We're going to see musical chairs at the running back position, but I don't think there's going to be that injection of youth and talent like we've seen in the past couple of years to knock people down a peg. So I think that the running back position in fantasy will stabilize a little bit, and there'll be a little bit more consistency with how these backfields look. You're not going to see this like second round rookie come in and get touches right away, because I don't think there's that many guys in this draft that are going to warrant that. So yeah, just a random.
I think we're gonna get a lot of refresh. Like I was thinking to myself, what are some guys like Tank Bigsby would be a good buy for a 3rd round pick next season.
Roshan Johnson.
Honestly, Miles Sanders, I think won't be on the Panthers next year. He could get another opportunity somewhere else.
It would have to depend on the landing spot.
Yep,
if that's what you said. Yeah.
I would say Michael Carter from the Cardinals is getting more run as the backup, and he looks good on this team.
Didn't DeMercado score another touchdown today?
Yeah, he snuck through the hole and got one at the.
They did not get called back.
What about Ty Chandler? We haven't mentioned him really.
Ty Chandler is a guy that could be a backup. And
your boy Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah, I've heard things that he's just a guy.
He's a guy now.
He's not making strides. That's what Cecil Lammy's been saying is he's not making any strides.
Keep an eye on that next offseason.
There's some. Like CEH could be on a different team next year. I know you guys aren't fans, but if he is a pass catcher, which is what he's meant to be,
had that nice touchdown grab today.
He could be something.
Do you think he throws on like another 20 pounds and he's like a Maurice Jones-Drew?
Mike Tolbert,
Michael Turner.
No, Mike Tolbert's a good one.
Turner had the legs,
big thick legs and ass, and
he just reminds me of someone like that, dude, like a mini Eddie Lacy.
There's definitely going to be some retreads this offseason just due to the draft class not being special. Yeah. And honestly, another buy, Kendre Miller. I know we get all the hate for him, but he is on a milk carton. He's missing.
There's a reason why he's on a milk carton.
But if he can stay healthy, he's going to get some play next year. Because you know what? Head coaches are going to be like, we didn't waste this pick. Like, they are stubborn.
I'd rather have Kevin Harris, who we talked about last week. And we said, no, I'd rather have Kevin Harris than
no, just because he scored a touchdown doesn't mean he's good. He's not.
Yeah.
He's better than Kendre.
That's just a ridiculous statement right there.
No.
Yeah, it was a little.
Kevin Harris is a jag of all
little
jags.
exaggeration.
That's like
he's been on the practice squad and no one's picked him off yet.
Matt Burrito over him,
yeah. Yikes. Kevin Harris.
Like Tyler Algier. I wouldn't be shocked if a team actually trades for him.
What about Chris Rodriguez from the Commanders?
He is just a guy.
Interesting prospect. He might be just a guy, but you know what? His second level explosion really showed something on screen today. Like he was fighting for the yards and he earned them every bit of the way.
His tape was one of the worst tape evaluations I've had. And he's just slow. He's big. And he's just a plotter.
So he's Brian Robinson before Brian Robinson was good?
No, he's not. Brian Robinson,
because that's what everyone said about Brian Robinson, and now he's like a good pass catcher, and he looks way better.
He makes Brian Robertson look like Zeke in Ohio State. That was my evaluation.
That'll be another guy that's interesting. I think Zeke's played well enough to get a deal somewhere else if he doesn't stick around in New England.
Yeah, Dameon Pierce could get moved. Like there could be
one carry today.
I mean, Singletary's a dude.
Singletary looked great.
Dameon Pierce has lost his job.
He almost walked off that game too.
I think Chuba could be a guy that is a starter.
I think he stays. I think Carolina loves him. I think he stays there.
Yeah, I think the new regime will like him too. Whenever we
Ford,
figure out who that is.
Jerome Ford, it'll probably be splitting. One of the Chicago running backs, like Herbert, could get traded. There's so many things that could happen because I do think they're going to look away from the draft and more towards teams' rosters this offseason. Like
and we also have Saquon Barkley that is maybe not on the Giants next year.
He doesn't want to be.
I think what's going to happen is the running backs will be more stable, and then with the wide receiver position, because this draft is very, very deep in wide receiver, this is going to be some veteran receivers who are kind of like, boop, boop, like either moved or shuffled down depth charts.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
All right, so I've been holding this off for a while. We kind of went a little bit over the games, but we'll go over each game. But I want to get a buy from each of you guys, from each team.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be it can be a top-notch player. You could buy high, but you could go to the depths
of hell.
And why? You can go from the depths of hell to go get this bye. Just give me a player and literally 5 seconds of explanation. And we'll start with the Thursday games, Vikings and Bengals. All right, Thursday game, Chargers and Raiders.
Chargers and
Give
Raiders.
me Chargers.
Chargers. We already mentioned it. Josh Palmer. I think
Yeah, Josh
he is
Palmer,
going
yeah.
to solidify the outside.
Okay.
Mike Williams, injury discount.
Mike Williams. Okay. Mine is Eckler. I think it's bad season discount. You're telling me if you were looking at last year and you're like, you get Eckler for a early second.
I would be asking why can you get him for a second after
Because
a
he had a
top
bad
notch
year on a bad offense.
He's fallen off, man.
Herbert
The
has
offense
had
was
one of
bad
these
last year too.
Hey, you said 5 seconds. This has been like
Herbert
50.
has had one of the worst seasons of his career. And
All right.
yeah, we're going to blame Eckler. Okay.
By and why? Vegas.
All right. Raiders.
Well, you said it earlier, Mayor, future stud.
Yep. Mayor.
Trey Tucker.
Okay. Vikings.
Jefferson.
That's by high, but his price is definitely lower.
Yep.
I will buy Addison,
Addison, not a bad choice.
a guy that I wasn't really high on, and still not as much value. I think he may have lost a little bit of value. He was a first-round pick last year. Not sure if I'd have to pay a first.
I am with Doug on this one. I think this is the lowest you're going to have Jefferson because he's going to get a massive contract this offseason.
Yep.
Bengals.
Higgins, because he's going
Higgins.
somewhere else.
Chase Brown.
Say Jake Browning.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown's a nice one. I like
If
Chase
Chase
Brown
Brown.
on the cheap.
Chase Brown would be mine for sure. But
The new Eckler.
Maybe
honestly,
Charlie Jones.
Jake Browning.
Or Andre. Aisha.
Jake Browning.
Asha.
If he keeps playing lights out like this, there is a slight chance he could be on a different team as a starter.
I can see it.
Steelers. Nobody? All right, let's move on. Fryermuth for me.
Deontay in hopes he gets moved.
Okay.
Yeah, Fryermuth for me. He's not going anywhere.
All right, Colts. A-Rich for me.
I'll buy Pittman at his price right now.
Pittman is he's going to be one of those receivers like Mike Evans that is just always undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
A-Rich.
Yep.
I think he's going to recycle his value.
Oh, here's one. Jelani Woods.
Yes.
It's a
I
good
like
one.
that. I like that a lot. He'll be 38 next season.
Yeah,
I'm not
maybe.
sure. He's an old rookie. Let's go Broncos.
Mims.
Mims.
I feel like everyone feels that way though, but Mims.
It's Mims.
It's Jerry Judy. No, it's definitely not Jerry Judy. Yeah, I would say it's Mims.
Lions.
There's a couple on here.
Laporta.
But it's
I don't care.
Laporta.
It's Laporta.
Really?
Yes, you said there's no.
I mean, yeah, buy high.
yeah,
buy
buy
high on
high.
Laporta.
This is super. We're talking Kyle Pitts level.
He's
right
the
now.
tight end one in startups.
You could buy 3 or 4 players on this team, and I wouldn't tell you not to.
Jameson
those-
Williams.
That's not one of those players.
I'm not a believer.
Jameer Gibbs, even David Montgomery's a buy.
Jameer
Amon
Gibbs,
Ross St. Brown is definitely a top 10 wide receiver moving forward. in
Jameer Gibbs
Dynasty.
to me is somebody that if you don't own him, don't trade for him because you're gonna have to give up way too much for a running
Yeah,
back.
I mean, yes,
If you-
but you
if you
said,
have
hey,
No, I
you
get
weren't
it.
putting a price on things.
I
so-
get it, but mine would be Jameson Williams.
Really?
Low price, getting more targets, get more involved. I saw him on the outside with Amon Ra more.
I
than I've ever
understand he's
seen him.
getting more target, and we won't spend too much time on this, but what I have noticed, he is a part of the team now. He has slightly gotten more targets. I think he got 7 targets today. But until I see it really on the fantasy scoreboard, I'm still a little sketchy, and I'd be happy to sell him to you.
Bob,
for like
our
a
good
third.
friend Bob Gilchrist, we love Bob in this place. He says Laporta or bust. I mean,
For sure.
I
He
think-
knows what's up.
The thing is we all saw Kyle Pitts' big season, and it was in chunks. Laporta showing consistency at a position that we rarely get it,
He has a quarterback.
and he has a quarterback.
That helps things.
Yes, but we'll get to the Falcons. Let's go today's games. Let's go Jets.
It's got to be Garrett Wilson
What, you don't want Alan Lazard?
or Randall Cobb or
All right.
whoever.
Since you took Garrett Wilson, I'm going to take Xavier Gibson.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Guys are making this tough for me.
Say Jeremy Ruckert. It's okay.
Yes.
I think
Somewhere
I think,
Sal Lito just went from 6 to midnight.
I mean, Brees Hall's value is still way too high. Otherwise, I
think
would
so.
say I could go and buy him.
You can every time Breeze.
Can
has
you buy
one
him
of
on a
these
third
games-
year discount next year?
Yeah.
Probably.
Possibly.
Yeah. Dolphins.
Oh man.
Bob says never Jets.
Not
Tua.
wrong.
Tua. Okay, he's had a rough stretch.
He
Yeah,
has had a rough stretch.
I'll
but
agree
I
with you on Tua.
I think he has stepped up enough and proven enough in a season with the weapons that he has, and I think the coaching staff is going to keep similar style of weapons moving forward in his career. So yeah,
He
I think he's a
played better than
franchise quarterback.
He played better than I thought he would today with no Tyreek against the Jets. So
He only missed 3 passes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Achane. Just because
Fair.
he's had some off weeks, I think his value is slowing down a little bit.
mhm.
I want to see where he's
Texans.
at right now. He's like running back 9, Devon H.
I'll take the injury discount on Tank.
Okay, that's smart. I'm gonna go Xavier Hutchinson. Give a deep dive. He got some play today. James,
Who are we going with? The Jags?
Texans.
Texans.
Oh, Texans?
Hi, James. Welcome to Dynasty Happy Hour.
Can I say CJ Stroud, or is value too through the roof? Noah
I mean,
Brown?
no.
Noah Brown is
You can
someone
say
that
Stroud.
I would go after. It seems like, we
It's a
don't know
one-year
what
deal.
Tank Dell's going to do.
1-year deal. Noah Brown could actually find himself on a team as a 2. He's
Shout out to Riley.
Hey, you guys will realize this is Noah Brown's 7th year in the league, and he's 26.
Maybe Noah
Yeah,
Brown will
he's
wind
just
up
a
on the
baby.
Tennessee Titans next year.
He was a baby.
Why would you do that? Why would you want that? I
Just
think he
saying.
should stay right where he
Well,
is.
Vrabel's going to be coaching the Patriots, so anything. can happen.
I think Noah Brown should stay right where he is, nice and comfy. How about the Titans? Mine's Traylon Burks.
Chigga Conquo.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Tajay Spears.
Nice. There's some good buys in this team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Buccaneers.
Not so many buys on this team. There are a couple though.
Say Rashad White, I dare you. Chris
Um,
Godwin.
Trey Palmer. You know how I like Trey Palmer.
Yep. I wasn't
would
going to
say-
take him from you.
I would say Godwin or Kate Otten.
Otten's another good one.
Kate Otten is definitely a good one. Yep.
Packers, it's Jordan Love for me. I've seen enough. Or Wicks.
Jaden Reed.
Musgrave. Get that injury
Musgrave-
discount. Stud.
Musgrave is a massive buy right now.
Yeah, big stud.
I mean, look what Tucker's doing. Think of Musgrave, who is athletic. Like
Yeah.
Tucker's athletic himself, but Musgrave's a different level. He's a
Wait,
Kincaid level.
Watson's a buy too, though.
Dif-
Injury buy.
He got hurt just from you saying that. Thanks, James. He was
He sneezes and pulls a hamstring. I'm out.
All right, let's go to the Giants. You Giants. You gonna go DeVito? Hey.
Yeah. I want to buy Tommy DeVito.
He looked good. He played.
He looked okay. Jalen Hyatt.
Okay.
I want to go with $1.
Wandale. Give me Barkley. Just he's one of those guys. If you're a championship contender, you can get for late first. If you're a contending team in a late first, that's more than enough. That especially if he's on a different team. Let's go to the
If
Saints.
he's on a different team, I'm all in. If he's on the Giants again, I'm not so much
They
in.
get Thomas back and you get Neal back. This offensive line could be a little better.
The offensive line will get better.
Thomas matters so much. Like
They
think
need
about
to
this.
fix the other. They need
Three-
to fix the other weapons, man.
3
They need a
years
healthy
ago.
team.
3 years ago, Andrew Thomas was a bust, a complete bust. Everybody thought he was one of the worst picks in Giants history. And then, like a year ago, he is literally one of the best book and tackles in the league. And when he got hurt, you saw the difference. It was a massive difference. And now he should be back next year. But Saints.
I mean, there's not too many people.
Derek Carr. No. Gross. I will never roster
mean,
Derek Carr.
Olave is an obvious.
Yeah, that's not a bad option.
I'll say Kendra Miller just because.
That's a good option. I'm gonna go
Jimmy Graham.
I'm gonna go Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed.
It was the other one on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just change your number, man. Don't be 22.
It's weird.
Jimmy Graham had a catch
Falcons.
today.
Yeah, and a touchdown.
He
That's what he
always
does.
2 catches and 1 touchdown.
It's
9
still
yards.
It's still Drake London
39 years old.
for the
So
Falcons.
I do want to recap. Doug and I made a trade. I traded for London. I gave up Waddle. Now, the reason I gave up some pieces, some upside pieces. The
Yep.
reasoning why I did this is because, I was proved wrong today. I don't think Waddle can be a true 1. I think he's a great 2.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't feel like,
then he
and
showed-
Then he showed that
he's a
he's
1.
like, hey,
Can
what
be
did
a one.
Tyler say about me? I saw he pulled up your tweet on the sideline and was like, what is this guy saying?
For me, Drake London with a quarterback can be a top tier wide receiver, like one
Yeah.
of the tops. And we saw that last week when he was overly targeted and he had to prove himself. Like he went up for things like that's Drake London, who we all thought he was going to be. That's why. But Drake London's a great choice.
Kyle
for
Pitts
me-
for me. He's
Yeah,
low. Very,
think
very low.
Pitts-
I'll take a shot.
He
At
can only
Pitts.
go up from here.
Yeah.
Pitts is worth an early second in tight end premium right now, I think.
Early second.
But the issue is people who have him are like me.
They're gonna feel like
Yeah.
I got him at the 104. Like I can't. They're just gonna.
drafted-
They're gonna die on the hill.
In 2 leagues, I took him over Chase.
Ouch.
That's the hill I'm on.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I'm on that one hill with you.
Panthers,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard.
Tommy
Okay.
Tremble.
Bears, the Bears.
Ian Thomas.
The Bears.
The Burrs.
I'm going Justin Fields.
I'm gonna go Khalil Herbert because I think that he's
Trade
still
candidate.
he's still a really good running back that I think is very, very good.
There's a couple on here.
I will go Roshan. I mentioned it earlier.
Yep. Cole
I
Kmet
th-
is still so undervalued.
You should have bought Cole Kmet last year.
Yeah.
And he's still so
So
undervalued.
I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent just for like 30 seconds.
Do it.
So if you look at the last 3 draft class, right? We had Cole Kmet was the first tight end taken,
Mhm.
and then we had Trey McBride as the first tight end taken last year. And then this year we've seen the rise of tight ends. We talked about the transition with Travis Kelce earlier, right? This is the transition. We are seeing these young kids. Now, some of them are hitting year 1, like Laporta, Kincaid starting to hit. We've seen Musgrave flash, Mayers. He's going to come eventually. McBride is here. Cole Kmet is here. He's a top 5 tight end on the season now. Like the whole position.
Joku.
The
a little
Joku's
older.
still like 19 years old. He's up
Yeah.
there.
But
Shout
the
out from
whole,
Jersey.
The whole position is starting to transition into being a more exciting position because of the talent. And we're going to see one of these kids get dropped in next year, Brock Bowers,
And there's
who-
another one I think that
the kid from
that-
Texas, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Jatavian Sanders, I believe.
Yep.
So we are seeing an injection of athleticism and talent into tight end, which is really going to reinvigorate the position. As we see Travis Kelce, his Eras tour is starting to come to an end, I think. So
And you have thought that he could retire at the end of the year. They are making so much quiche on their podcast with sponsors and like just people wanting to bring him in. They don't need football anymore. They are so big in their podcast world.
oh, it's
Now
like
the issue-
Gronk. Gronk had so many things going on
Yeah.
off, and then he retired. And then eventually he did come back to pair with Brady again. But yeah, I mean the same thing. 100% agree.
My issue with the Kelsey podcast is I listen to hear about their games and what they like their insight on their own games. They might lose a little bit of luster with that if they do retire.
So,
But I
yeah,
think-
that's fair. I do like the inside.
I do
look.
think that if they do retire, they will actually go more towards other games, which will be more exciting for their podcast. So
Yeah.
they have so many different routes. All right, let's go to the Cleveland Browns.
Cedric Tillman.
Damn it.
Ooh, Jerome Ford for me.
David Njoku.
Oh, Chief.
Yeah, it's yeah.
31 points. Two
It's
straight
really
weeks.
Cedric Tillman for me though. He is really the number 1 buy in my eyes on this team.
Elijah
Hey.
Moore. What could have been? What
Ugh.
might have been?
Dude, well, it never will be.
How about the Chiefs?
Remember when I traded Elijah Moore for James Cook?
The only thing I want on the Chiefs right now, outside of Mahomes, is Rashee Rice.
Which you're gonna have to get up first now.
Yeah,
God.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Sky Moore, that was cute.
Ugh. So
Yeah.
My thing is,
I'll
the
die on that
Chiefs-
hill.
The Chiefs have a chance to bring in a guy like Higgins, which will in turn help out Rice. Because
Different
Rice,
types of receivers.
I
Yep.
think we've
Yeah.
I think we've seen Rice. He's a good player. I don't think he is a difference-making wide receiver one. He's a volume guy right now, but I do think with a true number one, he will have better opportunities. He won't have the number one coverage. So yeah, I do like that. For me,
Kadarius Toney, obviously.
Gray.
Okay, yeah, because if Kelsey hangs it up.
Yeah, I mean Gray. We've always liked guy from Duke,
Mhm.
six round pick, I think.
Yeah.
Pure
Got good
pass catching
athleticism.
tight end. Yeah,
Yeah.
They definitely are going to hit they hit the defensive side so many years straight. They are going to smash offensive playmakers this offseason.
And hopefully they get him right because they haven't had a good track record as of late.
100%. Patriots. Anybody, any takers?
Pop Douglas.
Ramondre.
100%. It's Douglas for me.
Ramondre, you get an injury discount and he's a stud.
He's also like 34.
He's
That's
also,
fine.
yeah, he's legitimately 28.
49ers. No, the thing is, it's Purdy.
Yeah.
He's probably the cheapest piece, even though he's going to be the NFL MVP.
He's cheap, and you still got the believers. Like the people are like, it's a system. It ain't a system anymore. This is the real thing.
It's a powerhouse. That's what it
Oh, man,
is.
who would have thought?
It's a
could've been
powerhouse.
Trey
Jor- how
Lance.
about Jordan Mason?
No.
No, I don't want him.
You
Brandon
will if
Ayuk.
CMC goes down with an injury.
Brandon Ayuk,
I thought
Debo,
Mitchell.
those are still buys.
I
Elijah
don't like
Mitchell.
He's always
Yeah,
hurt.
No,
he's
it's
a buy. He's hurt
It's
right
Purdy. Like Ayuk, he's gonna be worth top like Marvin Harrison area. Like that's where you're gonna have to get for Ayuk.
Yeah.
now. Rather have Harrison.
Yeah, Cardinals.
I'd buy McBride at his price right now.
Fuck, another player I sold too early.
Yeah, you sold way too early.
Kyler.
Give me
I think
Michael
the be-
Wilson. I haven't lost faith yet.
With Kyler, it's when they get Marv, because I don't think it's an if. When they get Marv, Kyler is going to be back to himself when he had Hopkins.
You said this one earlier, Tyler. Michael Carter is a throw-in. In a deal.
He looks so
Yeah.
good.
I've always loved Michael Carter.
Like there was a play when they took out Connor, and then I knew it was Carter. And I'm like, God, like he's so juiced. Like he's
Mhm.
so quick in the hole. He's explosive. They can use him as a pass catcher. This guy could be,
I loved his North
Something.
Carolina tape.
yeah, and he's a good pass blocker.
He was good in North Carolina.
Commanders,
Javante Williams years.
the Manders.
I want to say Jahan Dotson just because he's dirt cheap. I
Okay.
feel.
Um,
And McLaurin's old.
Clorin is old. You said Dotson.
I'm going Terry because he's so cheap. Nobody wants him.
I'm gonna go deeper than that, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna scoop up Diami Brown.
You and every other truther and believer.
Diami Brown. I think we haven't seen enough of
James.
him yet.
James, come up on this hill with me. You see this burnt body of Dante Moncrief? This is good. This is gonna be Diami Brown.
Possibly you.
I don't
Welcome
know,
to the
man.
club.
Just I have
We all
some
have
kind
that
of feeling
guy.
about him.
All right, Rams.
Probably wrong.
Davis Allen.
Ooh. We all know
I
what
mean,
you're gonna say.
Kyron Williams would be Z-buy for me right now.
Mine's
Or
Puka.
no, it's really you can't buy Puka. He's too
Oh,
expensive.
I'm gonna buy Puka. I will trade a first for Puka.
No, you probably have to pay 2.
I don't think so. Once that draft class comes around and people see that nice shiny Florida State receiver on the board,
Oh, I don't know how I feel about him, but
Yep,
yeah, I get it.
exactly, Doug. I'm the same way. I'm partial. So give me Puka.
All right, so you'd probably have to give up Puka.
108. 107, 108.
Where are we
in
getting
draft.
Marvin Harrison?
103.
Top 3.
And Superflex at top 3. Yeah, 100%.
So-
You don't have to give up Marv money for him.
no.
No,
we are
see if I
talking
could trade Puka
you're-
for the 103 and then get Marvin Harrison. That's what I want
No,
to
that ain't happening. Marv is going to be a top 3 dynasty asset the second he is on an NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
want him.
Congratulations, whoever has the top 3 pick. Not me. Because I'm good. No, I trade my picks.
I trade a lot of my picks.
Cowboys.
Seedy.
Turd Ferguson.
Ooh. I was going to say Schoonmaker.
Oh, Luke
Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker.
Give me a really cheap Rico Dowdle.
All their
You
tight ends
scoop him
are
on
the
waivers
same.
right now.
It's like, you know how we joked about Saban having a running back factory underneath the stadium?
Mhm.
Dallas has one for tight ends, but it's just the average man tight end factory. Like, all they pop up.
It's like there's a New Balance factory, and then there's a Cowboys tight end factory, and they're right next to each other. And there's
How
a
do
little
you ma-
bridge in between.
How do you make these tight ends? Well, we got the
They
blood
share
of
the same
Jason Witten.
cafeteria. at
We got the
lunchtime.
blood of Jason Witten, and we got the
It's in all the dad runner
they
cleats.
just inject them with the blood.
we got the
of Jason
blood of
Witten.
Jason Witten, and we've got
They just
the
keep getting a
rubber
little
of
more,
New
more
Balance.
athletic each time. We go Jason Witten, Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson. All right, we're getting more athletic slightly.
They don't want to give it away, so they just keep bumping up here. So by 2038,
It's like the superhero serum, just with a little bit more in it every time.
yes, so by 2038, this tight end for Dallas is going to be just a beast.
That's funny.
Bills,
Cook.
that is a major buy high. For running back, that'll be 25.
I don't know if I want to buy it. I don't want to buy any of the receivers. Maybe Kincaid. Maybe.
I get Shakir cheap. I still believe that he can be a guy, even though he didn't do anything today.
Contender, give me Diggs, because I think his price is ultra low.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I would not be shocked if he's on a different team.
No, I think he's got one more year
Actually-
and that's it.
Give me Gabe.
Ooh.
For what?
I still believe. He's
What are
my
you buying
Moncrief.
him for?
He's my new age Moncrief. Everybody knows this.
What are you buying him for?
Mid-second?
I would do that. I would sell you him for a mid-second. Happily.
Okay.
gotta
I would
check
sell
my
him too.
rosters.
Bye-bye.
Also, Josh Downs, we forgot to mention on the Colts. Major buy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
for
one.
sure.
Major buy.
That was fun.
No, we're not done.
We're not done.
No, we
Oh.
are.
But wait, there's more.
Ravens. Keaton Mitchell. Or Dobbins. Ooh.
Bateman.
Just
Die
'cause
on
he-
that hill.
Just because he has a couple catches.
You know what? I'll pay the Zay price for Zay right now.
Yeah, Zay's worth his
Zay's
price.
an early second. I don't think he's too high.
Yeah, I would do that.
Mark Andrews maybe on the injury discount. That'd be a good look.
And
But
maybe
he's
likely.
getting to, Andrews is getting to the point where he could be George Kittle, where he could go major injuries every year or have a resurgent like Kittle.
Or go absolutely nuclear. Yeah.
Yep.
How about J.K. Dobbins? I'll buy him.
Yeah.
He's cheap.
I like Mitchell as if you can't get A-Chan, go for Keaton Mitchell as a low, like maybe early third, late second.
hmm
How about the Yags?
Christian Kirk. Injury by low.
It's a good one. Trevor?
That
Production by
Parker
low.
Washington, 100%.
Parker
He's
Washington.
scrappy, lunch pail kid.
That's my dude. I love Parker Washington.
Do
His
like
name's
Parker
Parker. He's so
Washington.
cool.
Hey, he's 3 for 6 right now.
We got 2 more teams. Let's do Monday Nighters.
Let's go Eagles. Tough one.
Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith. Okay.
Can give you wide receiver 1 weeks without the wide receiver 1 price.
I gotta go Kenneth Gainwell for absolutely nothing.
I'm gonna pass.
You can't pass.
I'm gonna pass.
You shall not pass.
Kenneth Gainwell for
What, you don't like
fourth
Jake
or
Stahl?
third.
Yeah, he was great when Goddard was out.
Yeah.
All right. So Doug passes. You know, you guys can all go on Twitter and say thank you for his advice on Philadelphia.
You're welcome.
Seahawks.
JSN.
JSN.
JSN. Or Charbonnet.
And
Yep.
Sharp.
Charbonnet. That's mine.
Yeah.
He's mine. Or Noah.
I'm really interested to see what they do at quarterback because I don't know if Gino's back next year
Noah Fant.
because he's a free agent.
I also think DK is lower valued than people want to admit.
You're probably right about that.
And
If I were to
DK,
guess.
You
whenever
might be
he's
able
not,
to get DK for a low end first.
whenever DK is not stomping on the sideline and on his sideline, just pouting a little bit, he is a dominant player. Like he is a dude. Like I even the Kelseys on their podcast are like, dude, like that guy should not be running a 4.3. He's massive. and
He's a freak beast.
He's a cheat
Yeah.
code.
He's like Megatron, but without Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's legit.
That's
a
perfect.
cheat-
That's a
he's
great
He's a
analogy.
cheat code.
Great
If he
comp.
had 10 to 15 targets game like Megatron had, he would be a wide receiver.
Oh, he'd be 1,500 yards and double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think I just talked myself into buying some DK this offseason.
There you go.
I definitely will be on my radar as well.
And JSN, of course, yes.
No, that
Yeah,
was a
that was
good.
a lot
That
of
was a
fun
fun little
buys.
exercise. Next week we do something similar. I don't know.
Some sales?
Some sales. We're gonna do some sales, some yard sales, a flea market maybe.
Yeah, let's do some yard sales.
What do you call those in Minnesota? They have a certain
garage
name?
sales?
Even if there's no garage,
sales. Okay.
We call them
James
garage
in
sales.
Jersey, what are they?
yard sales.
Yard sales.
They-
Yeah,
they-
yard
the
sale.
There's
yard
like
sales
3
here in
A's.
New
There's
England
like
too.
3
Yard
A's
sale.
to it.
There's 3 A's and like 4 D's. Yard sale.
Yo, when you come to my yard sale, just park on the street.
All right. Yeah, it's the yard sale.
We have
Go
garage
check the
sales.
yard.
How many
Wait.
of these yard sales have lots of hair products? Is
I
what
don't know. I don't
understand.
go to them, but every once in a while you see them on the main roads, and I'm
See
just
a
like,
used
oh.
trimmer.
Is it a manscaped
You know what?
trimmer?
I found a
'Cause I would
real
never
nice
sell mine.
sharpening stone at one. I've been looking for a good sharpening stone. I refuse to go out and buy a new one. I pull up to a
Also, you
yard
see-
sale, and it's
you
like
see a man-
$2.
You see a Manscaped razor at a garage sale, and it says
You're
pubes,
like,
not,
oh
pubes,
yeah, I
not,
need one.
pubes not included.
Discount.
No, I tell him, be like, hey, you need
Used
a new one.
once.
Use code DHH to
Used
save yourself
Where?
20%.
You use
Not
it
clean.
exactly.
Forgot to clean.
For God's sake. They want to sanitize that thing when you get it back home.
All right, what a hairy episode this was. Let's get out of here.
At least it wasn't a Nikhil Harry episode. That's a good thing.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah.
speaking of sells and bust.
Speaking of hills that we die on.
I did not die on that hill, but yikes. All right, that is going to wrap us up this week. Check out manscaped.com, 20% off. Use code DHH. We're going to be back next week. Hopefully, we can talk about teams that maybe we won with and we're on to the next round. If not, whatever. No one cares about our fantasy teams anyway. Scott Fishbowl, it's been real. I'm pretty certain I'm going to be eliminated. Made the top 500. I'll take it out of 3,500-ish teams.
We
salute
you.
I'm pretty excited to hopefully be a part of that next year. It's one of my
Send you
favorite.
use Manscaped razor, Doug.
Raver? Does it come with glow sticks?
Yes. Oh my God, we just
The
gave Manscaped. We just gave Manscaped their new. Hey you guys, we just gave them their new idea. Manscaped has an LED light, but strobe lights on the side.
It's got a built-in Bluetooth speaker that only plays like Steve
House
Aoki.
music.
EDM.
Yeah. Ooh, can I get the Skrillex edition? It's a signature edition. Only has that music. I've got ideas.
Sponsored by Zeke, because if people don't know, he's a massive fan of EDM music. So
And he's also an Ewok.
yes,
Fun fact.
And he
You
also
could use
did crap
Manscaped.
for my fantasy team today.
That is also true. All right, let's get the hell out of here. We've been Dynasty Happy Hour. Make sure you use you leave a
you
goddamn
use
it.
your
We're out of here.
Manscaped razor.
Leave a
Yes.
review. Thanks.
Bye.
We're doing it live.
That's how you fumble the bag, folks.